Please be advised that this video is for the sole purpose of entertainment. Any views are purely my own, are subjective and may not necessarily be true. I do, however, do extensive research for all of my videos. All photos have been found on the public domain. I am using them under the fair use and fair dealing guidelines. I urge everybody to do their own research. Well, hello, it's Murky Meg here. It's Wednesday the 13th of May and this is my second video today, so if you haven't seen my shorter video that I did earlier this morning, please go back and have a look. But today's video I'm going to concentrate on two issues. The first issue is the fact that the media are now saying that Meghan wants her upcoming biography, their upcoming biography, because let's face it, it's all about her. Nobody's really interested in Harry. Everybody wants to learn what she has to say and whether or not she has been included and cooperated with this, and I'll deal with that a little bit later on. She's basically said that she wants the book to be released sooner rather than later. The Finding Freedom, Harry, Meghan and the Making of a Royal Family, which is set to be released on the 11th of August. A friend has said that she said the book will finally set the record straight and show the world why they were left with no other choice than to leave the royal family. The friend confirms that she wants to shatter this image of being a demanding diva on her quest for fame and power. And they added Meghan seems to think that readers will finally understand the monumental anguish and turmoil she's had to endure with a stiff upper lip. It continues that Meghan said that people need to see her vulnerable side, something the book does in great detail. I think she wants people to feel sorry for her, or at least have compassion for her and all she's been through, which has been anything but a fairy tale. Woe is me. Come on, should we get the mini violins out again? You had everything at your beck and call. Everything you wanted, you could have had. But unfortunately, it didn't suit the narrative. You wanted to be Diana 2.0. That didn't happen. You stomped your feet and left. What else is there to talk about, to be quite honest? I don't understand this, because the whole Africa documentary was supposed to set the record straight and how it's hard and it wasn't fair and how she was just surviving and not thriving, and that went down like a lead balloon. Can you imagine what this book is going to do? It's going to divide us even more. What I don't understand is that the whole world is in an absolute crisis at the moment, yet she is all consumed about her image. Well, that's just classic narcissists for you, isn't it? And this cements the demanding Duchess and the difficult Duchess even more. She's stomping her feet. They won't listen to me. They don't love me. They don't love me. I'm going to put the record straight. It doesn't work like that. By issuing these demands via your friends, what you're actually looking like is an even bigger diva, because everybody's not bowing to your feet and your needs. What worries me is that she wants to set the record straight. What exactly has she got to set straight? Which indicates to me that she believes that she was treated very unfairly within the royal family, because that's what she said. They were left with no other choice but to leave. So who is she going to blame for their leaving? Because she's obviously taking the victim narrative in this book. Remember, folks, that a narcissist is never to blame. I don't get what the problem was. She knew what she was getting into, and no amount of denying that she knew what the life was going to entail will ever make up for the fact that she was a mid-30-year-old something woman that had access to the internet. A quick Google search will tell her exactly what the monarchy entails. It's not like she was going to marry somebody on the edges of the royal family that only put in a little appearance. She was marrying the sixth in line to the throne. She can't deny that she didn't know what she was getting into. People in Outer Mongolia would probably know what the royal family life entails, so deniability is not working here. Also, I think it's incredibly naive to suggest that she had such hardship when she hasn't really been subjected to any poverty whatsoever. She's been on the fringes, she's clapped around people that are really, really poor and have nothing and come from a developing country, and yet she still bleated on the victim status while in that country. I find it quite offensive that she is bleating on about the choices that she's had to make when she's had a life that has been handed to her that is full of riches and anything that she wanted, palaces, outfits, $1 million wardrobes, a baby shower that cost an arm and a leg. You know, we've just had International Nurses Day and the entire royal family came out and did the most beautiful video. Yet she's there bleating on about her life and how rotten it is and how terrible it was. Yet this woman that had a multi-million-pound wedding, she had a house that was fit for anybody's dreams, but it wasn't acceptable for her, was it? She went on private jet, she had haute couture everywhere. She was dripping in it, wasn't she? Just wasn't good enough, was it? So unfortunately, the victim card, I think, has well and truly expired. My main problem at the moment is that I have tweeted Omid Scooby several times asking whether or not Harry and Meghan cooperated with this book. Nobody has answered me at all, but I've been doing a bit of digging. A lot of royal reporters said that they have in fact had a hand in this book. Omid hasn't replied. He's staying stum, and I believe he's staying stum just in case he says the wrong thing and he's markled. There have been publications that have alluded to the fact that Meghan was involved in this book. It said Meghan allegedly had plenty to say about what went into this book, much more than the public is being led to believe. The only way Finding Freedom was ever going to be published was if Meghan had the final say and gave her seal of approval. This is really worrisome to me because she's going to sing like a canary. And I'd imagine that the royal family are not only perplexed into why that this is happening, because they literally gave him everything on a silver platter except what they really wanted, which was a half-in, half-out deal, and still retain the amount of privilege that they were subjected to as being part of the royal family. But they didn't give her that, did they? So she stomped her feet and she's just basically bleating everything she can. We've also had a very interesting article with regards to Harry. Now, it's been said that he feels rudderless and misses having a structure to his life. Again, playing the victim, you are living in a multi-million-pound mansion. Now, I know that money does not equate to mental stability, that you chose this life. This is what you wanted. You gave up everything for this life. To then turn around and say, well, yeah, it's not really what I wanted. I'm not really happy. The grass isn't always greener on the other side, and that's something you would well remember. There's a famous quote with regards to narcissism, and it says, a narcissist is someone who demands you give up everything in order to be their nothing. And I think that quintessentially sums this situation up. He has given everything up for his wife and his child, and only time will tell whether that will be enough for him to live a genuine, happy life. And in most marriages, you have to have a happy balance between both parties. If the balance is unequal and one party is miserable where you are and what you're doing, then that's going to seep into everyday life and the cracks will start to form and rot will come into the foundations. You know, Harry has had it relatively easy with regards to the media prior to Meghan. Yes, there was some shady deals, but, you know, he was the lovable prince, the cheeky chappy. We kind of went, oh, it's only Harry. He's just young Harry. It's fine. He's good. He's got a bit of character. But I found an interesting comment on the Daily Mail that was directed to Harry, and it said, I served with you in Afghanistan, Harry. You were entitled and rude then, but no one dared to say it. Why don't you do the world a favour and do one? The unsuccessful spare to the heir and the unsuccessful actress seems you have a lot in common. When in the replies somebody suggests that this was made up, then somebody else says, I assure you it isn't. I live in a very military area of the country, and I've heard mutterings about his behaviour from several sources. One former senior officer said that he would vote for a tour in hell provided he didn't have to wet nurse Harry again. It seems that Harry has a darker side to himself. More than likely, it is grounded from a life of privilege and doing whatever he likes, and he knows that whatever he does, then the mess will always be cleared up and he never has to worry about anything. That does something to your mentality and your state of well-being. You are entitled, you are egotistical, and you are snobbish. I don't think he's quite as nice as everybody is led to believe. And with all of this, it seems that they are both polar opposites. He wanted a life of privacy, she wanted a life of publicity. Or whether or not, we don't know. Maybe she was whispering in his ear going, we can be the greatest, we can be bigger than William and Kate, we can do everything, we can have global domination. Well, that's not happening now, is it? Because the world is in crisis and your plans are completely on hold. And I suspect that reality is sinking in pretty quick with exactly what you have done to your family and your friends as well, because you are not surrounded by people that care about you. Apparently, you are surrounded by Team Meghan. Can you imagine the pressure that must fall on his shoulders? I'm not asking for sympathy for Harry here, far from it. I think he's made his bed and he has to lie in it. But by leaking these constant stories to the media, both Harry and Meghan are looking childish, impetuous and immature. And I think the severity of exactly what has happened from leaving the royal family is sinking in for both of them, because reality must be dawning on them, because I don't think they realise how disliked they are. I think they live in a bubble. They just think, oh, if we just release this book, or if we just release this article, if we speak to the media via our friends, everybody will love us again, everybody will fall in love with us, that we're just misunderstood. No, it's a bit more than that. It is so deep rooted now from your past behaviour and what you have done till now. I don't think, especially the British public, will not ever accept both of you back in this country. My main problem with all of this, especially with the paparazzi pictures that I spoke about in my previous video this morning, it's now justification for them to come back to the royal family and say, we don't feel safe. It's not like we imagined it. Harry's unhappy. He's homesick. He doesn't feel like he belongs. Is that trying to pave the way to come back into the fold? What would happen if they did? Like I said, I don't think Meghan would ever be welcomed here again with exactly how she has behaved towards both the British public, the monarchy and the press. It just wouldn't happen. Harry, I think, may be welcome back, but without her. It's a very tricky situation, but I believe this is either all gearing up to the court case to play the victim card, because they know that they're on a losing streak, and I think that they know that the battle is being lost at the moment, and the Daily Mail have a stronger case. They may well win on the copyright infringement, but that to me isn't a win, because they have lost so much to get there. Everything about them will be laid bare. Especially if the royal family's financial situation has to come to play in court, then I don't think there will be any going back. It all rests on this book, I think, for the royal family. I wonder if they've had a pre-approved copy. I don't think Harry and Meghan are going to, I wouldn't expect them to give them any indication of what's in the book. And I think that is an incredibly dangerous situation to be, because I believe that Meghan will sing like a canary if it means her meal ticket. If they have corroborated, which it is suggested that they have, then it will be interesting to see if they are getting any kickbacks for that, or whether or not they're just doing it to try and get their story out there. But irrelevant of what they say, the damage is already done. There is no coming back from this, unfortunately. What this book will ultimately do is add even more salt to the wounds. I would love to know your thoughts on everything that I have discussed in this video. What do you think of Meghan's diva demands and wanting the book to be released now during these very unprecedented times when the world is crumbling? Do you think it's fair, or do you think that's just her and her diva demands in play yet again? What do you think about Harry being rudderless and having no structure? Why is this coming out now? And do you think it's just yet another way for him to play the poor little prince victim card? And finally, is Harry a nice bloke? Do you think he is the nice cheeky chappy that everybody is led to believe? Or do you think he has a deep, deep side to him that nobody really knows? As always, I would love to know your thoughts. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the notification bell and also that like button. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of my followers for all the tips and all the emails, DMs that everybody sends to me. It really is greatly appreciated. So thank you very much for watching once again.